All right, welcome to 2024. Man, I cannot believe it's already the first week of January. And here we are continuing on to do what we do. And you probably haven't seen me in a while. I have braids now, but not for long. They're probably gonna come out this weekend. I've had them in for a few weeks now. But something fun for the holidays, and that way I don't have to like worry about my hair and deal with my hair during the holidays, which is really nice. Which really, we're gonna just be comfy and cozy and kind of like just catch up. And then I'm also gonna kind of share with you kind of my journey on how I became a lawyer and a law firm owner. But we're gonna catch up. And so let's see, holidays were good. I hope your holidays were good. Mine were a little rougher than expected, but let's see, where are we? I would say it started with October when I fell at a spa and messed up my left foot. That was not fun. But then that recovered, that was fine. And then December, I got bit by a dog in my right hand, and I'm right-handed, and it's pretty healed up now. Got bit by a dog. That was my first time being bit by a dog. I don't recommend it. And let's see, so I was dealing with that. That was like the week before Christmas. Yeah, the week before Christmas. And when I went to the hospital, they put me on amoxicillin for 10 days. And I don't know if I've ever had amoxicillin, or if I have, it's been a really long time. Like, I must have been a child the last time I had amoxicillin. I don't know when I would have had it. But come to find out, I am pretty sure, we are pretty sure that I am allergic to amoxicillin. And when I say we, I mean me and my doctor. So I have a coconut allergy, and 2 nights before Christmas, I inadvertently had some coconut, and I broke out in hives, which has happened before. And I was like, oh, you know, I'll be fine tomorrow. Well, tomorrow came, and it was worse. I was like, my face, my chest, my stomach, covered in hives, swollen, miserable. And I was just like, oh, this is crazy. And then, like, the next day, like my arms, my hands, my leg, like it just spread, and I was miserable. So yeah, that's how I spent Christmas. And by New Year's it had gotten better, so they put me on prednisone. It was just like a steroid, and I was on the Zyrtec and the Benadryl and some other medication and the prednisone, and just cycling through all these medications, pretty miserable, pretty swollen, pretty just uncomfortable. And you know, I mean, I'm glad that I was off. So I closed my law firm for 2 weeks during the holiday. I do this every year, you know, with pay for staff. Like we shut it down. And so I'm glad I was off to be able to recover. But then when I got back to work this week, like I wasn't well rested. I wasn't ready to get back into it because I was just like coming off of recovering from those 2 weeks. And so it was just like, it was a lot. So that's how my 2023 wrapped up. I hope yours is better than mine. So, all right. So that's where we are. That's where I'm at now. So this week has just been plain catch up. You know, and I warned people like in November, like, hey, I'm shutting down my firm for 2 weeks. So whatever you want to do is either going to have to be wrapped up before I leave, or it's going to wait until after I get back. And no matter how many times I warn clients and colleagues, whoever, it just never fails that there's always something. But like, it is what it is. I closed the firm for 2 weeks. I've been doing this for a few years now. So, you know, the week that we come back, we play catch up and stuff. But, you know, I mean, there's nothing that I do that really is that urgent. In most cases, most things can wait, and everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everyone's fine. The files are fine. So we just pick up where we left off and keep things moving. So today we're talking about my journey to becoming a lawyer. So most of what I talk about on here is about, you know, being a lawyer, but really being a law firm owner, being a mother, running the business and the personal side. And I really have spent the past like 2.5 years really kind of taking care of myself and my health and integrating that into my lifestyle, not just personally, but professionally. And so I talk about like how those two things marry here. And so, but today, like, we're gonna take a step back and just talk about my journey to becoming a lawyer, because this year is my 15th year of practicing law. 15 years. It's been a long time. It's been a really long time. So let's talk about how we got here. And so for anyone who maybe wants to be a lawyer, you're in law school, you're new to being a lawyer, or if you're like me and you just like hearing other people's stories of how they got to where they are, then this is for you. So I feel like I've always known that I wanted to be a lawyer, even like as a child. And so, you know, through high school, I knew I was going to be a lawyer. Went straight to college. Like, there was no in-between break. There was no gap break. Like, and for me, like, college was just a means to get to law school. Like, I could have cared less about college. Like, I needed to get to law school, but law school said I had to go to college first. And so when I was in college, I majored in history and I had minors in poli-sci and women's study. I felt like I had to get a double minor. I don't know why. I'm always kind of like trying to go the extra mile unnecessarily sometimes, but some really great classes. I went to Seattle U. I'm in Seattle. I went to Seattle U for college. I went to Seattle U for law school. And, you know, navigating this path to figure out how to become a lawyer was sometimes like when you're in the thick of it, you can't see like the how, like you don't know how it's gonna happen, and you have to just take like the little steps, you know, incrementally to get to where you want to go. And so like in high school, like I didn't know how I was gonna be a lawyer. I just knew that that was a path I wanted to go. I was always in the career center talking to the career counselors, trying to figure out, okay, like, how do I get to law school? I gotta get to college. Well, how do I get to college? I gotta take, you know, SATs and do college applications and pay application fees and apply for FAFSA for financial aid and take, you know, the SAT, will take the pre-SAT, take a prep course. Like, it's just little steps at a time to figuring out how I was going to become a lawyer. And I feel like that's true for whatever kind of big dream or goal you have, like whether it's becoming a lawyer or, you know, where I was, you know, 8, 9, 10 years ago trying to figure out how to open a law firm, right? I've owned my law firm for 8 years now, and like, I don't know how to open a law firm. I didn't know how I was going to do that. I didn't, like, no one in my family owned a law firm. I didn't know. I had, you know, colleagues and friends who own law firms, and I'd just be like, wow, like, how did you do that? How did you take something out of nothing? Like, how did you create that? And so it's all about the small incremental steps. And so when I was in college, I was fortunate that the law school I wanted to go to, like, it was at the same campus as my college. So the law school is its own school, but it's physically on campus because they're both Seattle U schools, Seattle University. And so when I was in college, I was reaching out to people in the law school, talking to the admissions, to the assistant deans, anyone that I could try to get to know to learn more about that process, and just like a natural curiosity about how to do what I needed to do to get into law school. And I remember just like being in college, looking at the law students at the law school and just being like, oh my gosh, like I can never imagine, like, to be a law student just seems so cool, right? And then when you're in law school, it's like, wow, I can't imagine like actually being a lawyer. And like, you know, you're always looking at someone who's, you know, 10 steps ahead of you and just being like, wow, I just was like, it was just like so fascinating, and just like, I knew I wanted that for myself. I just wasn't like, I didn't know how I was going to get there, you know, in the long run, but it was just like little steps. Like, what do I have to do right here and now to get me to that next step? And let's see. All right, so that's college. So from college, I went straight to law school. Again, no gaps, no breaks. So graduated college at 22 and starting law school. I didn't know what kind of lawyer I was going to be. I wasn't really sure. So in law school, what I would recommend if you are in law school or looking to start law school, that you do every job, internship, externship that you possibly can. because when you're in law school, it is perfectly acceptable for you to have a bunch of jobs and to work places for just a quarter or a semester. So for me, my 1L year, I did my 1L summer internship. It was paid for a solo family law attorney, which I didn't want to do family law. I didn't necessarily enjoy family law, but I liked being able to see the experience of a solo attorney. And she actually had an office share with 4 other solos, and they just kind of shared the office area and conference room, and I kind of helped them all out. A couple of them did family law, one of them did immigration, but for me it was more about just seeing that experience of working for yourself. I didn't think it was something that I wanted to do, but it was interesting to see how that worked. And then my 2L year is when I really got like busy with work, because here in Washington, in your second year of law school, you can do what's called a Rule 9, which is like a limited license to practice law. And so I went to work for my county prosecutor's office, prosecuting misdemeanors. And so you could prosecute misdemeanor cases all the way from, from start to finish. For a criminal misdemeanor case. You can't prosecute felony. At least when I was doing it, you couldn't do felony cases, but you could do misdemeanors. And so I had some DUIs, reckless driving, things like that I prosecuted. But this was 2008. So I graduated law school in 2009. So my 2L year was 2008 when the market crashed. And so the deal, kind of expectation was that you do a Rule 9 your 2L summer, and then when you graduated law school, you got an offer to come work for the prosecutor's office. But the market crashed, and the state had this huge budget freeze, and they weren't hiring any of us Rule 9s to come on as prosecutors when we graduated law school. So then I ended up at the AG's office in the L&I division, which was interesting, but didn't really seem like something I wanted to do, I don't think. But it was the same issue there, where again, it was Attorney General's office, budget freeze, they couldn't hire us on. So then it was like, well, great. Now I'm in my 3L year, and I don't have a job lined up. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so I've always had an interest in real estate, and so I just started like sending cold letters to smaller real estate firms kind of around me. And so none of them were hiring, none of them had postings for jobs, but I just pulled up every small real estate firm I could find and sent them a letter with my resume and a cover letter just saying that I was looking for a part-time, job while I was in law school. I got quite a few letters back saying, in short, thanks, but no thanks, right? But then there was one firm that needed some help and could have used me, and so agreed to bring me on. I think I worked like, 10 or 15 hours a week, something like that, while I was in law school. And I ended up staying there for 7 years. So I worked there my 3L year, graduated law school, took the bar exam, passed the bar exam, was an attorney, and started just working there as an attorney. I think it was like kind of like on a part-time basis. I think it was kind of like an eat what you kill situation. Like I got like half of whatever revenue I brought in, I got half of it. And so I was there for 7 years. I had my 2 kids while working there, which really, is what I needed, that flexibility of working part-time. When having my kids, so that ended up working out really well for me, but it wasn't an overall good fit for me. But I didn't know what I was gonna do. I wasn't gonna go to some big firm downtown. I knew I didn't want to work 60 hours a week, and the idea of going out on my own and opening my own law firm sounded more and more attractive, but was just scary as hell. And it was just like, I don't know anything about that. So I spent probably 2 or 3 years. See, I went out on my own in 2016. So probably like 2014, 2015, kind of talking about it, trying to research it, trying to find blogs talking about going out on your own, and trying to just figure out what that looked like. But I didn't know that I could do it or believe that I could do it. And I'm always such a planner. I've always been someone who has to know like the who, what, when, where, and how of things. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons learned through, you know, my career and journey, especially going out on my own, is that it's okay to have a plan. Like I'm always going to try to have a plan. But I think you also have to be open and be flexible to things that might come up that you aren't expecting or aren't planning for, right? You can't be so laser focused on what it is that you're doing or what you think your plan is or what you think your plan should be or what other people think your plan should be, that you find yourself with blinders on, just focused on this, you know, one thing and having a one-track mind on what you think it is that you have to do or should do, what people want you to do. And so I think that's what going out on my own or opening my own law firm has really taught me, is how to have a plan, but to also stay open and to have an open mind and be flexible, you know, about things that might come up. Because that's really how I started, you know, the past year or two, really helping people with my coaching and consulting practice. Is that when I went out on my own in 2016, I have spent so much time talking to other lawyers, usually lawyers who are moms, usually. That's my firsthand experience. That's where I can speak from a place of empathy. And trying to navigate having a legal career, but also having your personal life and taking care of your family, taking care of your kids, but taking care of yourself. But also having satisfaction in your career. For a lot of lawyers who are moms, that means going out on their own and opening their own law firms and navigating that journey. And so that's where I spend a lot of my time, and what I've been doing in the past, you know, year or two, is really working with lawyers who are moms who want to figure that out. I don't like calling it a work-life balance, because I feel like the term balance implies there's some kind of perfect balance or harmony, when there's not. I really refer to it as a juggle, where, you know, sometimes career is like this and personal life is like this, sometimes personal life is like this, and sometimes work is like this, and you're always kind of juggling, and you're just trying to not drop anything on the floor, right? I mean, that's all we want to do at the end of the day, is just not drop everything on the floor. And so that's where I feel like I really, you know, thrive and really, you know, help other lawyers, is trying to navigate that journey and that process, whether it's opening their own law firms and navigating how to open a law firm. If I wish I had somebody who could have shown me kind of how to open a law firm, and like a coach or a consultant to kind of walk me through that, I would have been so much further along. But you know what? Now I'm here to kind of show others, you know, what I did and what not to do, and how to do things better than I did them, and how to do things faster than I did them, and more efficiently than I did them. And so that's the beauty of having that experience, is that I can kind of, you know, I've been through it and kind of know what you should and shouldn't be doing. And so, you know, I bring that to the table when I'm coaching someone on how to open a law firm. Or for some of my clients, they're, you know, they've got a law firm open, but they're kind of just like treading water, and they're not making progress. They're not really happy. They're not really thriving. And so we work on the running the law firm, the management side of it, the business side of it, because in running the law firm, practicing law is the smallest part of my day. The least amount of time that I spend each day is practicing law. I'm running the business. That's what I'm busy doing. I'm doing the sales. I'm doing the marketing. It's the business side of it. I'm being the entrepreneur of my law firm, not so much the lawyer. And so working with clients who are running their firms, are trying to figure out how to take care of themselves while they run their firm also. Because if you take care of yourself and you feel better and you do better, then you're a better lawyer for your clients, you're a better boss to your employees, you're a better spouse to your spouse, you're a better mother to your children, right? I feel like if you can fill your own cup, then you can fill the cups of others around you. So that's what I do. That's how I got, in short, in 20 minutes, how I got from wanting to become a lawyer, being in high school, not knowing how to navigate that journey, to now having had my own law firm for 8 years, practicing law for 15 years, and now consulting other lawyers on how to do the same thing. So if you need help with any of that, feel free to reach out. Contact info is below. Welcome to 2024. It is great to see you and be back with you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.